that's a rough approximation of the intro to the Eric Clapton with John Mayall and the Blues Breakers Ramblin' on My Mind off the famous Beano album. It is the first recorded vocal of Eric Clapton. And it's a good tune to learn a couple of fairly easy blues licks. I'm going to show you that intro, I'm going to show you the verse, a couple of turnarounds, some licks from the solo, and the ending of the tune. So let's start by breaking down that intro. It is a 12-bar blues in the key of E, and it starts on a very common blues lick, which is up here at the 7th and 8th frets, which if you move your first position A minor chord up to the 7th fret, you'll see that that's part of an E minor chord. Okay, you have the G and the B from an E minor chord, the 3rd and the 5th, and you kind of bend the middle finger there on the 8th fret just slightly. Like we've seen in other lessons, the blues and rock for that matter play a lot on the tension between the major and the minor keys, which is the change between a minor third and a major third in a triad. So that would be a major third, that would be a minor third, and so when you bend that minor third, the G, teasing it up towards the G sharp there, that gives it that bluesy feel. Okay, so he starts with that lick, slide off and just hit a B on the 2nd fret 5th string, and then the open B 2nd string. You don't have to finger pick this. Parts of it does make it easier. So again, and you're going to hammer on the 2nd fret 4th string, the E note. So again, easy, just walk down lick. And then he does this sort of reverse turnaround. You're playing the 2 notes out of an E major chord on the 3rd and 5th string, the B note, the G note, G sharp note, excuse me, 3rd and 5th again, and just walking it up. This is repeated throughout the song. In the intro it really sounds like he only plays that 3rd string. But in the rest of the song he's going to use that 5th string as well. And lots of times he's kind of hitting the open 1st and 2nd string as well. Kind of like that. Okay? And then returning to that, just doubling the B note. So the whole intro. Okay, very easy, very cool. The verse is 1-4-5 blues standard chunking, kind of on the two note root and 5th. Okay, you know this hopefully. You can play it like this, or you can just move, since you're really only playing those 2 strings, you can just kind of move that ring finger up one to hit the 5th fret note. I like that because you can kind of mute that 5th string as you're moving it up. And then when you shift to the A, of course, you're just doing the same thing up 1 string. A couple of times he does this. He plays that 3rd string 2nd fret A note at the end of the lick. So like so, come to the B, we're doing a standard B7. Really just kind of hits that 5th string, 2nd fret, and then kind of back to the A, and then of course resolving on the 1. There's one neat little fill that occurs throughout the song during the verses each time that he comes back to the 1. And it's played by hitting an open E string, kind of muting it, and then doing this little double hammer-on the G string. You're playing it open, then hammering 1 and 2. Okay? It's kind of hard to play slowly. So again, open, hammer 1st fret, hammer 2nd fret, let off, and then do a little trill hammer on that 1st fret G sharp note. That trill, that is again from the minor 3rd G to the major 3rd G sharp, so it's an incredibly common lick throughout blues. Stolen by Robbie Krieger for that lick, a million others, right? Ramblin' on My Mind, you're over the A. And so forth. So again, after you play that little trill, you just go B, D, D sharp, E, E. And again, each time in the verse that he returns to the E chord, the 1, he plays that. After the first verse, there's the coolest, in my opinion, turnaround in the whole song. So fourth string. Plays 2 notes out of the B7, the B, and the A. 2nd string, open, 3rd string, 2nd fret. One more time. That's really cool, right? Okay, end of the 2nd verse, he does the turn around before launching into the solo. Okay, the solo. He launches into first the E minor pentatonic shape at that 7th fret, where your E minor chord would be. 3rd string, 9th fret, 2nd string, 8th fret. Again, 2 notes out of an E minor chord. That's the G note, the E note to the G note. And then he completely tortures this note, the 10th fret, 2nd string, which is an A note. He's bending it up a full step to a B, and he plays that over both the A and the E and the A chords, the 1 and the 4. Okay, that wasn't great, but you get the idea. You're just so as you were just messing around with those 3 notes, okay, By this point you're back to the A chord, the 4, and he comes down into an A major position here in the 5th fret. Starts bending this note, which is the F sharp. He's bending it up to a G sharp. Releasing to the E note there at the 5th fret, 2nd string. First time he bends that F sharp note, he's bending it alone, and again releasing to that E note. But the second time he anchors his pinky there at the 7th fret, 1st string, the B note, and I've shown you this kind of a unison bend before where you anchor one finger. We saw it starting with Give Me 3 Steps. We've seen it in countless lessons, where you keep one finger anchored while you bend another string. And I don't know if he's doing flat picking or finger picking, but to me it sounds more like a pick. That's pretty much the only challenging lick in the solo, and he kind of noodles around on those 3 notes a little bit out of that A major scale, and then he goes whether he hits that A note there or slides up to the 10th fret 1st string. And he finally resolves in the standard E minor blues box there, which you should also know from previous lessons. Comes out of it with that same turnaround. Okay, so again the solo starts out with that, and then essentially 3 positions he noodles around with in that solo. So that's rough. That gives you an idea to kind of play along with the record and figure out for yourself. Last verse, same as the first 2. Ends the same way with the... And again you go... That's the cool part about the ending. Again, the turnaround the same, but instead of staying on a B, we're ending the song, so we want to end on the 1, and he ends on an E7 chord, right? You should know your D7 shape there at the open position, D sharp, E, right? So sliding into it from a D sharp 7 to an E7, we go... Play around with those turnarounds, and also realize that can be done going the other direction. And the same with turnarounds can go in either direction. Okay? So, a little rough there today, but just playing around with that Eric Clapton tune. Wanted to pass it along to you. Hope you enjoy that, and I will see you next time.